Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanavadhanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopachantaye. Om. Dear friends, welcome to Geeta. We have almost completed the third chapter, that is the Karma Yoga. And in the last, that is yesterday, I was reading this shloka number 43, that is the last shloka of the third chapter. Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Kamarupam Durasadam. That is what we saw. You kill that enemy. Who is that enemy? Not Duryodhana, Dushasana, etc. Enemy is Kama, that desire. So Krishna is talking at a different level. Krishna is not talking about the battle which is there in front of him. So he is only talking about killing of enemy. This is the enemy of every human being. We have to see, we have to realize that this Gita is not taught to Arjuna alone. Arjuna is only a pretext. Arjuna is only a pretext, and on that pretext, this message is for all of us. So what Gita is saying here is, by that viveka, by discrimination, by jnana, you are going to kill this enemy called Kama. So how are we going to kill that Kama? Kama can be killed only by jnanam. That is the reason why Shiva's eye, the third eye, is called jnana. It is supposed to be the eye of wisdom, eye of knowledge. And the fire which comes out of it is what is called Jnana Agni. Jnana Agni Dagdha Karmanam, we are going to see here also. Jnana Agni, that fire, when we say that Lord Shiva opens his eye and whatnot, the third eye, what is that third eye? Third eye is that eye of wisdom, eye of Jnanam. Jnanam, what sort of Jnanam? Atma Jnanam. Atma Jnanam is the only Jnanam. Atma Jnana is something which destroys this Ajnana, this moha, this attachment, etc., etc. So that is how this sarga we have concluded. That is a very, very important chapter called Karma Yoga. That is because all of us, we are all men of action. We are not sannyasis. We are not people who have totally renounced this world. In fact, the world cannot go on if all the people in the whole world become sannyasis. If all the people become renunciates or mendicants or somewhat like monks, the world cannot sustain. Who will feed the monks? So you have to be there. There have to be some people, lot many people, in order to feed all the monks and the sannyasis. So naturally, in order to feed all these monks and sannyasis, people have to do some hard work. People have to produce wealth. So all these things are needed. So naturally, most of the people in the world, they are all men of action. They have to be in the world. They have to seek some material wealth, and they have to see that there is some sort of prosperity in the society. So this Karma Yoga has been has been held as very, very important. That is the reason why people like Balagangadhar Tilak, we know that the Balagangadhar Tilak, the great freedom fighter, he wrote some huge volume on this Karma Yoga, a huge book on his approach to Karma Yoga. And his approach is slightly more oriented to karma. And of course, when you go to some traditional pundits talk about Karma Yoga as only a means for the ultimate end called Jnana. Whereas Tilak lays emphasis on karma itself. Karma Yoga, a person has to be a man of action. His job is not to become a renunciant, his job is not to become a sannyasi. So he lays a great emphasis on this action. So if we have to recapitulate as to what all we saw in this Karma Yoga. So what did we see in the beginning? In the beginning, Arjuna had a doubt. He was saying, you are talking about jnanam, you are also talking about karma, then you tell me precisely, tell me decisively as to what is better, and what is it you suggest to me. Then Arjuna said, yes, there is no doubt there are two paths. There is a path of jnana, there is a path of karma. But you are not yet qualified for that higher level called jnana. You are still in the path of karma because you are a fighter. You have been, it is not for you right now. Chittashti is very much needed for everybody. But you are not fit for that jnani level where you can totally renounce all these things and then you can go. You are not at that level. So he said, Lokesmin Vividhanishta, he said. Pura Proktamayanaga, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. Jnana Yoga is only for those Sankhya, the people who are totally devoted to knowledge. And Karma Yoga is for all the people who are men of action. And then again we saw, just to recapitulate, what are the types of karma we saw? We saw that karma means all types of human activity can be called karma. And in this karma, that is what is called good action, there is what is called bad action. And here that bad action or prohibited karma or nishiddha karma is not the subject matter here. Nishiddha karma, we are not at all talking. Nishiddha karma is something which has been rejected and which has been prohibited. We are only talking about what has been permitted karma. And in this permitted karma, again, there are different levels. That is, there is what is called desire-driven karma, what is called kamya karma. That is, I am performing something, I am doing some tapas, I am doing some dhanam, or I am doing some other good thing, or I am doing some yajna, let us say, yajno, dhanam, tapascheva, etc. Yajna, dhanam, tapas, etc. And I am expecting its result. I want some punyam. I want, okay, whenever I am giving something, I want some punyam. So that is the reason why there is the Upanishad says, not Upanishad, the Taittiriya Aranyakam. Taittiriya Aranyakam says, whenever a man does anything, good or bad, whatever it is the karma, it is the motivating factor is the desire. And if you are giving something to somebody, it is the desire which is motivating you to give something to somebody. You are donating something to somebody. Kamo data, kama parigrahita. It says, kamo data, kama parigrahita means the giver also is kama, the taker also is kama. That is, the person who is giving, he is also motivated by the desire for some fame, for some punyam, etc., etc. And the person who is receiving, he is also motivated by that kama only. So, kamo data, kama parigrahita. So, that kamya karma is the basic level. Kamya karma means that action in which you are seeking the fruit of that action. Then the next level is Krishna. What Krishna said is, okay, if you are continuing to seek the fruit of that karma, you will continue in this cycle of samsara. You will continue to be in the cycle of birth and death and birth and death. So that is what is called samsarana. Samsarana is somewhat like the clock. Clock is just ticking, 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 going round and round and round. You are never away from this. You are never escaping from this cycle, this particular cycle. So if you want to escape from this cycle, you have to put an end somewhere. At some point of time, you have to start asking for the fruit of this karma. So you do this karma in such a way that you do it as your duty. The kamya karma only, kamya karma, you would remove that desire and do it as a sort of duty. And that is what he said, Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Why duty? Because even the God, or if you visualize something called a cosmic entity called God, that cosmic entity, he will not be interested in causing harm to us. After all, having created all this whole world, he is interested in justice. He is interested in helping us. He is interested in doing good to good people. And of course, punishing the bad people. Paritranaya sadhunam, etc., etc. So, when you are doing some activity, when you are doing some karma, you do it in such a way that you put yourself in the shoes of the Lord and you do your work without expecting the fruit of the karma. That is what is called Ishvararpana Buddhi. Whatever you do, you give up that fruit of karma to the Lord Himself, and you are just doing it for the welfare of the society, for the welfare of your neighbor. So that is what Krishna said. So what is called that individual? The individual, he is giving up in favor of that vyashti or the aggregate. The individual and aggregate, if we take these two things, the individual desire is given up, and then this individual is working for the aggregate. So that is what we saw in that karma yoga. And what is it that we get in that karma yoga? When a person does these things with such Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, naturally a person's mind gets purified. That is, that karma yoga is going to give him Ishvara Arpana Buddhi, Chitta Shuddhi. And an important question is, will karma yoga itself eliminate this cycle of samsara? That is a very, very important question. Like I ask you, I request you to concentrate on this, listen to this. Will karma yoga alone emancipate or free a person from this wheel of samsara? The answer is no. Karma yoga itself is not able to to elevate a person from this field, from this circle of samsara. Karma yoga, no doubt you said, I don't want the fruit of that karma. But what about the entire past karma of hundreds and hundreds of births, innumerable births, because a human being. See, Srushti is Anadi. Srushti means this creation. This creation is something which is originless. So the jiva has been coming on and on and on for innumerable births. So all that karma, some good karma is neutralizing bad karma. All that calculation, calculus might have taken place. But still, there is a big baggage of karma. So all that baggage of karma will continue to be there. All that baggage of karma will go only with jnana, atma jnana. Atma jnana alone will destroy all that karma. So that is again what Vedanta says. So tentatively, What is the tentative benefit of this karma yoga? The tentative benefit or immediate benefit of karma yoga is, in this life, you are not adding on to whatever punyam which is there, and also you are simultaneously getting that chitta shuddhi, which is the basis, which is the prerequisite for that jnana path. So these two advantages are there. Number one, you are attaining that chitta shuddhi. Number two, you are not adding to that accumulated whatever baggage is there, that baggage will be there. So this is what is the benefit of karma yoga. This is the benefit and also the limitation. The limitation of karma yoga is that. Then Krishna was also talking about yajna. Yajnarthat karmanonyatra. He was saying yajna. Then he gave a totally new definition. And in fact, we are going to see in 4th chapter, he is going to describe yajna in a much, much bigger way. There we will have a greater discussion on what is yajna. But here tentatively, what did we see? Yajna is something where a person is doing any good activity which is done with the interest of helping others is what is called yajna. Any good activity. It may be a ritual called a yajna, or it may be dhanam, tapas. You are doing some dhanam to somebody. That is also yajna. So he used a certain beautiful word called loka sangraha. Loka sangraha means in order to be a sort of role model for all other people. You are doing a good activity in order to be a role model for other people, so that the other people will also follow you. So that is loka sangraha. Lokasya unmarga pravrutti nivaranam. There is a commentator was saying, that is, you are helping other people to come into the right path. You are helping the people, or rather you are stopping the people from going on a wrong path. So that is what is called loka sangraha. So we saw that meaning there. And Krishna was also saying, yajna shishtashinastantah. Then you are supposed to enjoy anything only after doing some good karma. Without doing some good karma, you can't have it only for yourself. If you are having it only for yourself, that is somewhat like our corporates. That is corporate goals. Corporate goals are basically for self-aggrandizement and not for the welfare of the society. So, ye pachanti atmakaranat, he was saying, Krishna was saying, those who accumulate wealth, those who accumulate for their own cause, they are the greatest sinners. So Krishna was saying that. Then karma, then again this particular karma, this karma yoga, let us say, above this karma yoga there is another level called jnani karma. Krishna was also referring to that. Krishna was referring to that when he referred to King Janaka. King Janaka and others, they were enlightened people, but at the same time, they were also performing their royal duties. So a question will come, is King Janaka a realized person? And if he is a realized person, how is it that he is performing his royal duties? So there Krishna said, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhimastita janakadaya. He said, Karmanaiva hi, that is, in spite of karma, even along with karma, karma is not a hindrance. For a jnani, karma is not a hindrance, because a person who, there are 2-3 levels in which this particular sarga has talked about. That is, at the lowest level, there is a person who is doing karma seeking benefit. At a slightly higher level, there is a karma yogi. There is a karma yogi who is not enlightened person, but he is doing his karma with Ishwara Arpana Buddhi. And at a higher level, there is a jnani, there is a realized person who is also doing karma. And when he is doing karma, he has no notion of that kartrutva or bhoktrutva. Kartrutva means the notion that I am the doer. And enjoyer, that bhoktrutva means the notion that I am the person who is enjoying the fruit of that karma. So he is doing it in a very, very, let us say, not matter of fact way. He is doing it with the idea that the body-mind complex is doing it, performing its whatever routine karma it is doing, it is supposed to perform. And I am not the doer, I am not the karta, I am not the bhokta. So jnani thinks that he is not the karta, he is not the bhokta. So he is at that particular level. So we have seen 3 levels. A person who is desiring, a person who is not desiring but not a jnani, a person who is a jnani and still doing karma. So this jnani karma, is it a hindrance for moksha? That is what was the question. And Krishna answered, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhimastita janakadaya lokasangrahamevapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. So if you think that you are becoming a jnani and then this karma is something which is a hindrance, don't think like that. People like King Janaka, King Rama also. Rama, for example, for the sake of Rama, Vasishtha is said to have imparted the knowledge of Brahma Jnanam to him. That is what is the whole book about that Yoga Vasishtam. There is a huge book called Yoga Vasishtam. That entire Yoga Vasishtam is about how Vasishtha, sage Vasishtha, instructed Rama. Like how Lord Krishna is instructing Arjuna here. In that book, Yoga Vasishtha, Vasishtha instructs Rama. So, like King Rama, Janaka, etc., they were jnanis and they were also performing duties. So, that is the reason why I was also quoting one shloka. Krishna, for somebody, Krishna, nobody can say Krishna was not a jnani, but Krishna was also a king. He was also a family man. He was also enjoying things. He was having 8 wives, let us say. So, Krishno Bhogi, Shukas Tyagi, Shukaha Tyagi. Shuka is, we know that Shuka Maharshi is the son of sage Vyasa. And Shuka was a person, right from the birth, he was a person, immediately after he was born like a 16-year-old lad. He was not born as a child, he was born as a 16-year-old lad. And that person, he was already full of Vairagya. And that person, he was a totally renounced person, Shukaha Tyagi. Then Janaka, this Janakadayaha, these people are all rulers. Janaka, Rama, etc., they are all rulers. Then Vasishtha, there is another person called Vasishtha. He was also a jnani, but he was performing all these rituals, etc. Vasishtha karma nirataha. Vasishtha is somebody who was performing all the rituals. But at the level of jnana, panchaite jnaninaha samaha. Panchaite jnaninas samaha means all the 5, they are equally jnanis. Somebody may be a bhogi, somebody may be a tyagi, somebody may be a ruler, somebody may be a ritualist performing all these yajnas, etc. But at the level of jnana, all people are equal. So that is what that shloka says. So karma is not a bar for jnani. If he is already a jnani, he can be following whatever bodily activities are there, he can be following that. So that is what he said. And he also said a beautiful line called Yadyad Acharati Shreshtaha Tattadevetaro Janah. And one has to be a role model. If you think that you have to totally withdraw from karma and you have to become a sannyasi, etc., you are setting a bad model for your own people. You are setting a bad role model for your own son. And in that context, I was also referring to the spiritual but not religious category. There are people who say, yes, I am spiritual but not religious. But such people, it is very difficult to judge whether they are really spiritual or not. But anyway, they are setting a very bad example for their own people, for their own friends, relatives, or their own children. So that shloka, Yadyad Acharati Shreshtaha, is very, very important. And thereafter, then the next question is, if you are doing this karma, in that karma yoga mode, let us say, karma yoga mode means you are doing a karma as duty or as an offering to the Lord or with Ishwararpana Buddhi. Then when you are doing it, are you doing it with all enthusiasm and interest, or are you doing it in a very, very matter-of-fact way? In government service, we use the word called work to rule. There is what is called work to rule. When people go on strike, the first level of strike is work to rule. That is, okay, something he comes to the office at 10 and then sits there. He sits there and then whatever file comes to him, he just sees it for some time and then thereafter he just goes away. Work to rule. According to rule, I just work and then go, not beyond that. So are you doing it in such a perfunctory manner or are you doing it with interest? So here what Krishna was saying was, no, you are supposed to do with interest. A karma yogi and also a jnani, they will not perform activity, they will not perform karma in a very, very lazy, lethargic, work to rule manner, but with all interest. There was a wonderful shloka there, Sakta karmanya vidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata, kuryad vidvans tatha asakta. That is, just as an ordinary man indulges in karma with all enthusiasm, I want this result, I want this fruit, I want this, I want to achieve this. So just as an ordinary man wants that result and works with all enthusiasm, similarly a jnani is supposed to work with all enthusiasm, without seeking the fruit. A jnani and also a karma yogi, they are supposed to work with all that enthusiasm, without seeking the fruit. That is a wonderful example, wonderful shloka given by Lord Krishna. There are some more points in this karma yoga. I will continue tomorrow. Harihi Om Tat Sat.